So good morning, everyone. So in last class, we have seen uh, so data structures in data structures class, types of queues, simple queues, and then circular queue. We have seen these two types of queues. So what is a circular queue? All the nodes are treated as circular. Last node is connected back to the first node. Okay, so circular queue is also called as a ring buffer. It is an abstract data type. Circular queue contains a collection of data which allows insertion of data at the end of the queue and deletion of data at the beginning of the queue. Okay, so beginning of the queue and then end of the queue. So this is a diagram. You can see below is a diagram of a queue. So below is a diagram of a circular queue. So there is also one more type of queue, priority queue. Okay, so there is also one more type of queue called as priority queue. What is priority queue? We'll see. Okay, priority queue. So what is priority queue means? Priority queue contains priority queue contains data items which have some preset priority, while removing an element from a priority queue, the data item with the highest priority is removed first. Priority queue contains data items which have some preset priority. So while removing an element from a priority queue, the data item with the highest priority is removed first. So already we have seen queues means what? Okay, queues is from rear end we are going to insert an element, from front end we are going to delete an elements. So apart from that, it is not possible to remove the element from the middle. Okay, so if you want the elements to be removed from the middle, you can use a priority queue. Using this priority queue, you can remove the elements from the middle. Okay, in a priority queue, insertion is performed in the order of arrival, and deletion is performed based on the priority. Okay, in priority queue, insertion is performed in the order of arrival and deletion is performed based on the priority. Okay, so this is priority queue. So we have done the queue program also. Okay, so next topic is Okay, so next topic is recursive function. Okay, so next topic is recursion in C++. Recursion, okay, in C++, I can say, or recursive function. Next topic is recursive function. Recursive function. Recursive function. So what is recursive function and why we have to use this recursive function? We'll see. Okay. Recursion is the process which comes into existence when a function calls itself, when a function calls a copy of itself to work on a smaller problem. Okay, so to work on a smaller problem, okay, to work on a smaller problem, we are using this function, recursive function. So what is the definition of function? Is any function which calls itself, any function which calls itself is called recursive function. Is called recursive function. Okay, so any function which calls itself is called recursive function. Recursion involves several number of recursive calls. Okay, recursion cannot be applied to all problem. Okay, recursion cannot be applied to all the problems. So recursion is a process which comes into existence when a function calls a copy of itself to work on a smaller problems. To work on a smaller problems, this recursion is required. Any function which calls itself is called as a recursive function. Okay, next, recursion cannot be applied. Recursion cannot be applied to all the problem. Recursion cannot be applied to all the problem, but it is more useful. But it is more useful for the tasks. But it is more useful for the tasks that can be defined that can be defined in terms of similar subtasks. Similar subtasks. Okay, that one. Okay, so this is a recursion. A function calling itself is called as a recursive function. Okay, so we can write a program on this. So there are so many problems which can be solved using this recursive functions. Okay, so what type of problems can be solved means any problem that any problem that can be solved recursively can also be solved iteratively. Okay, however however some problems some problems some problems are best suited to be solved by the recursion. Okay, so for example, so what types of problems can be solved? For example, tower of hanoi tower of hanoi fibonacci series factorial finding. These are all things. Okay, these are all the different types of problems can be solved. Okay, so now we'll write one program of recursive function. Program on recursive function. A program on recursive function. Okay, hash include iostream dot h, hash include conio dot h, next int factorial int int factorial int int is a okay is a recursive function. We are declaring int int. Then okay, int is a function declaration I have declared. Next I am using main function main function main function. Okay, int main function I'm declaring two variables int n comma f. Printf, enter the number whose factorial you want to find. Enter the number. Okay, so you have to use cout function. Enter the number whose factorial you want. Okay, so you want to calculate. You want to calculate. Okay, so C in n, you have entered the value. Now you have to call the function f is equal to fact of n. You're calling the factorial function fact n. C out factorial is f, close. Okay, factor is f, close, return, close the main function. Then now definition of factorial, int fact int n, flower bracket open. If n is equal to 0, okay, if n is equal to 0, return 0, return 0. If n is equal to 0, return 0. If else if n is equal to 1, else if n is equal to 1, return 1. Okay, if n is double equal to 0, return 0. If else if n is double equal to 1, return 1, close. Else return n into fact n minus 1. Okay, close, and then close. Okay, so this is a program on recursive function. So first hash include iostream.h we have used, hash include conio.h, int fact int is a function definition. Okay, here I have used function definition. Function definition. Next, int main function, int n comma f, two variables are declared, int n and f. C out, enter the number whose factorial you want to calculate. C in n. So suppose you want to calculate the factor of 5. Factor of 5 is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 means, okay, you will get 120. Yes or no? So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is 120. Okay, you will get a 120. Okay. So f is equal to fact n. Here is the location where you are going to call the function. Okay, so f equal to fact n, this is called function call. So every function will have three things: function definition, function call. Okay, function definition, function call. This is function declaration, function call, and function definition. This is function definition. Okay, sorry, this is function declaration. I write it as function declaration. Function declaration, function call, and function definition. So there are three things you will be having for every program. There will be three things on functions: function declaration, function call, and function definitions. So declaration is optional. Okay, in some programs there will be declared. In some programs they will not declare directly. They will use function call and function definition. So function definition, function call are mandatory. Okay, so this is function call, and this is function definition. Function definition. In fact, int n is a function definition. If n is double equal 0, return 0. Else if n is double equal to 1, return 1. Else return n into fact n minus 1. Okay. So these are the functions we are calling itself. Where the function is actually, the function definition is here. In this, I am declaring a nested if else. Nested else if I am declaring. If n is double equal 0, return 0. Else if n is double equal to 1, return 1. Else return n into fact n minus 1. So when this fact n minus 1 is there, this is a recursive function call. So when this one is called, it will go back to here. Okay. Again, it will check whether n is equal to 0 or not. If n is not equal to 0, it will not check it. If n is not, if n is not equal to 1, again it will avoid. It will come here and it will multiply with this. So first, if I am sending 5, so 5 into n value 5, if I send f 5 into n minus 1, 5 minus 1, 4. So 4 will go here and it will check these two conditions. Okay, 4 is not equal to 0, 4 is not equal to 1. It will come and it will multiply n into 5 into 4, 20. Okay, so now in n value I am having 20. 20 into fact n minus 1. Again, fact n minus 1 means 4 minus 1, 3. Okay, 20 into 3 it will do. 20 into 3 it will do. Okay, so n minus 1 means 3. So 20 into 3 it will do 60. Okay, 60 again it will go. Okay, 60 will be there. Again, one more time fact n minus 1 it will call. 3 minus 1, 2. Okay, 2 it will come and it will check. So 60 into 2 it will do. 60 into 2 is equal to 120. Okay, 120. Now n value I'm having is 120. So here factorial fact n minus 1 means 1 minus 1, 0. If 0 comes, it will go here. If n is equal to 0, return 0. It will return a 0. Okay, so it will return 0. And total in n, what value is there? 120. So 120 will be returned. Okay, so 120 will be returned to the main program. Okay, so 120 will be returned to the main program, and main program will display the value factorial. Okay, 120 will be returned here and it will display, see what factorial is 120. It will display factorial is 120. Okay, so this is a factor of a given number. Okay, I hope you have understood. So tomorrow we'll be doing a program on it,